Alright, so I figured I'd give a proper tour of the finished basement. It's been a while since I uploaded the time lapse and all the progress videos, and I never really walked through it to show everything, so I'm going to do that in this video. It has we have all the stuff down there, it's all kind of completed. So, some things that you didn't see in the video, this has been properly stained. It's still not 100% done. For example, this needs to be repainted and some nail holes. We actually had to take off this part of the door frame to get the furniture down there. The couch wouldn't fit. And then this has been stained and everything. So coming down, it's probably been, what, six months since we finished this. And the video of the time lapse has about 500,000 views. It's been, well, on YouTube. It's been actually shared a lot on Facebook, I'm surprised. Had a lot of these big companies contact me and ask if they could share it. So it's actually been shared on the Weather Channel, which is probably, I guess, the biggest page I've seen it on, but I get emails almost weekly of people asking if they could share my video, so figured it'd be a good time to kind of walk around and just show everything. So, got the little bathroom in here, and this was a late addition. It wasn't originally going to be here, so I think it's 6x6. Very nice. It's got the, we'll go back behind this wall, but it's got the pump up toilet, so I'll show you that. But yeah, this was originally a wall we framed in, and this wall we had problems with when we were framing it. Yeah, we didn't originally want to buy a second pump, because that and then the bar sink has its own pump, and then we're just like, whatever. So we bought one. You know, decoration on the bottom of the steps here. There are lights. Let's see here. So there's 3 light switches. One of them turns on these guys. This one has a dimmer, which does these lights. So if you're watching TV or something, you want to kind of dim it, you could do that. And then the third switch does up there, and then the one above my head. I think we need a new light fixture for that. That's just from what was here when the house was built. But like I said, there's some things that we kind of never finished that someday we'll get done. But that's where the wall ties in. The new framing right here, you kind of see it a little bit of a shadow there from the lights coming down. Never put a railing here, just we figure we don't need it. Another thing I'm surprised people comment on this, is with the carpet. I've had people say, oh, you ruined the basement by putting carpet down here. I guess, I don't know if in other areas, I mean, I don't know, I guess if you want to be fancier, you'd put in hardwood floors or whatever, it looks nicer. The purpose of the space is to hang out down here and come sit on the couch and watch a movie or something, or come down in your pajamas and socks. And so we wanted to be as comfortable as possible. That was the goal. It wasn't to be fancy or anything. If you want that, you could go upstairs and hang out. That's why we did the carpet. So we like it. I guess that's all that matters. The custom line built-in thing originally was going to be all slats like that, and then we changed it up and put the shelving in there. And then coming around, another question I get a lot. Well, first of all, if there's anything I don't show in the time lapse, which any small jobs like electrical I didn't show because it's not even exciting. But one thing I don't really show is anything with heating, ventilation, air conditioning. So people are always asking about that, about anything that they didn't see. So let me address that if I haven't already. There's no air conditioning down here, and this is the only source of heat. So some people probably don't think that's enough. I'll tell you right now, it's what's it outside right now? It's in the 20s in Fahrenheit. But it's been, you know, negative temperatures this winter, very cold, and I could still come down here in a t-shirt and it's still fairly comfortable. It doesn't really get too cold. In the summer, even on the hottest day, it's still nice and cool down here. This basement is completely underground. It's actually pretty deep buried underground. The dirt's right about here. It's up above that window. So, and plus we insulated the walls. It's very well insulated down here. Temperature does not change that much, but when it does get chilly down here, we have this and there's a remote for it. And so I didn't clean up or anything before I came down here, so you could see it in its actual state. But there's a remote. You could turn it on, and it just blows out heat. Nice and relaxing visual thing on there, and it'll heat the place up pretty quick. And then we also have oh, it's over here, the space heater, which does a good job too, but it's really not necessary if you don't mind being a little bit chilly. So there's the TV. I guess we probably could have went a little bigger on that. So there's also a light behind it. I don't know why you'd ever really need that, but we put it there anyway. Oh. So, and then the closet here, you got the light switch on the outside. Kind of rubs the carpet there. I guess we could always trim the bottom of that. It's a little bit more finished up in here. So my dad installed this shelving over here. Drywall doesn't go all the way up because it's just a storage closet, and there's the clean out for the sewer. And then got this nice paint on the concrete so it's not like dusty. It's actually a nice finish on there. And we partially finished and painted back here, but this is all just, I guess, storage. And then this, we originally bought this for the bar and then changed our minds, so we just threw it up back here. But this is the back of that wine cabinet. So yeah, just storage, and you can see that's up above the TV. So there's the shelving. These ceilings here are 9 feet, and those are 8 feet. Really happy with the way the drywall came out being, it wasn't my first time doing drywall, it was my first big project like this. So looking at the walls, you can see the glare, and you can't see really any lines, and especially that wall looks really good. I'm happy with that. Wasn't as happy with the ceiling. It's just not it's not perfectly smooth. I mean, I guess if you notice things like that, or if you're a drywall guy, you'd notice it. I mean, I guess normal people wouldn't notice that or even care, but it bugs me a little bit. I wish I could go over and do another coat over it, but it's fine. This is the egress window, which is required by code. I don't know what's going on with the knots in the wood. First of all, someone's been rubbing it here. But we painted this a few times and it looked fine for a few months, and now the knots like have bled through. So I guess we need to paint it again. But that's the egress for, you know, to escape if there's a fire. So you can see how thick the walls are. So, but it's nice, you can kind of just close that up. And not too much daylight down here. I think it's nice and comfortable with just the 2 small windows. You know, kind of neat being underground and secluded from everything. So you got a couch here. There's a pull-out bed, recliner. The couch here. Some comments, I guess, about how wide this pole is. I don't like it either. The reason it's more wide in this direction is because the pole is actually like right here, and I framed a little tiny wall on either side of it, right here and right here. So the drywall is almost touching the pole, but I had to have a structural wall on either side of it. Figured it would be better to make this side wider than this side. But I actually came out a little further than necessary on this side because I wanted this transition here to be smooth. I thought that would look nicer, and it's like a half column that's the same size, but it's lined up with this one. I guess it's just one of those little details. And there's wiring up there if you want to add speakers, I guess. So coming around here, we did have Christmas decorations up. I took a tour before Christmas, and I never uploaded it because I had said in the video that we were going to do more work and finish some things up, and that never happened, so figured I'd just refilm it. So the bar, got all the chairs there. Sometimes we'll have dinner down here. It's actually pretty comfortable. The tile, kind of wish we did like some kind of radiant heat under it or something, because it's cold, obviously, being on the concrete. That's where we had the Christmas tree. And then coming back behind the bar, you've got a popcorn thing, dog's dish. And then we have the kegerator thing. It's got some kind of beer that we change out, and then like root beer or birch beer or something like that on this one. See some other details that we never really finished is like the edge on this. Got all your alcohol and stuff back here. Again, this was never trimmed out. We're gonna maybe we'll just put like a curtain or something here, and then there's a pump here. It's amazing how fast this thing pumps up water. Just real quick like that, and it gets taken out. I just realized I forgot to finish explaining with the air conditioning. So there's heat, but no air conditioning. However, we planned for maybe adding air conditioning if it turned out that it's uncomfortable down here. Now, we've had meetings down here with maybe 15 people, and it's fine. Like, even the body heat is fine. But we did add a drain line in this wall, and we have measurements for where it is if you need to access it. That ties into the pump, actually. So if we ever wanted to add a wall unit similar to that, but you can add a wall unit for AC, it can go right there. You just punch a hole in the wall. I guess there's an outlet. Yeah, there's an outlet below there. I guess you can always just run a wire up from that and add an outlet up top, tie into the drain line, and you have an air conditioner. We didn't do that from the start because, again, we thought it was fine. We got quotes for doing that, and it was like $3,000, and it's just not really worth it. And there's that window there. You got access to there's a gas line there, and then there's access to a hose bib out the back. So you got your Home Depot cabinets. They work nicely. You got all the stuff in there. Music, got Alexa hooked up. I guess where's the switch for these things? Little lights back here, I guess. Toaster thing, and then a little mini fridge with some drinks in it. So eventually I guess there could be a TV here someday. But normally if you're sitting at the bar, you're just, I guess, facing that way watching the TV, even though the pole's halfway in the way. This is, I guess, considered a mini pool table, or it's a smaller version. But it fits fine. I've had some comments about that, if it's too big for the space. And I thought it would be when we were putting it here, designing this, but it actually fits perfectly. If you're getting like a weird angle shot, you have just enough room with that wall there that it's not a problem. I guess I'll address another question, is with the drywall. A lot of people, it's amazing how people on the internet think that they know everything and then comment. I mean, I know I'm not a professional in this, but they're like, oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And I get a lot of comments mainly about the drywall. I hung the sheets on the walls vertically, and a lot of people ask me why I did that, or just tell me I'm an idiot because I did that. The reason being, I hung the drywall myself besides the ceiling because I needed help. The walls I did myself. It's easier, I thought, to stand it up and then use like a kick jack on the bottom and push the sheet up so it's off the ground. I just thought it was easier to do vertical. I guess wouldn't have mattered that much to do it horizontal, but I thought it was easier. It really doesn't matter strength-wise. I mean, I know hanging anything horizontally, especially like sheeting on a house, it gives you more shear strength. That's, I guess, why a lot of people comment on that. But you don't need any strength on these walls down here because they're bolted to the floor, they're bolted to the ceiling, they're not going anywhere. That's another thing people have commented on is, oh, you should have put a floating bottom plate. I know people do that in like maybe an earthquake area, so your bottom plate can actually move up and down if the floor moves. Again, this house has settled. This is a 10-year-old house. It's not, I don't think it's an issue. There's no cracks anywhere. It's fine. So, and then the whole waterproofing thing, that's another conversation. But I made sure to do my research before we did the vapor barrier and stuff. So I think the way we did that was fine. I think we need more wall art over here. I said, like, I don't think we should cover these walls because I'm so happy with the way they look. They're so, like, perfect. But I think it would be nice to have some art. So then finally I'll show you the closet, which this is, over Christmas break I was planning on maybe finishing the floor and painting the drywall similar to that front closet, but just never happened. So yeah, see, the drywall's not even sanded or anything. This is the electrical panel just for the basement. This was added on, of course, when we built the wall here. But kind of needs to be organized down here. This is the water heater, which installed a pan under there. I guess if it floods, it's not going to do much. I guess my dad said he installed a electric shut-off in case this were to flood, because again, it's 10 years old. The PEX manifold. It's really tricky having to design the walls around all this stuff the way they have it laid out. Beer fridge back here. It's got beer and ice cream and burgers. So what more can you want? And then this is the back of the bathroom. And you can see the drain, and it pumps up there, it goes over, or it goes in actually to that main sewer line. And it's been raining a lot, so that's why the pump keeps kicking on. We're at the bottom of a hill, so the sump pump goes like crazy when it rains. You can see the water level is actually pretty low. It's lowered a bit in the last couple days, but there's two pumps in there. I don't know if I ever talked about this. There's the main pump, which keeps going off. It goes up through the front yard. And there's actually a backup pump, which is this one on the right side. And so this is, I'll just really quickly explain it. So this is where the water comes into the house. There's a lot of pressure in this line. And so this hose actually comes off of the water feed, and it's open, so there's water in this. And there's a valve on there where if the water level raises up to a certain point, it'll open the valve and the water will flow through. It'll start flowing through this hose, and the water pressure will actually remove more water from the hole without using any electricity at all. So I think for like every gallon that goes in, like 2 gallons come out. But the water height, you can see the float on that is higher than the float that's down there for the main pump. So if the main pump were to fail, or we lost electricity, the water level would come up to this pump's height, and it would make this one kick off. So, but this has been going for days. So, and then you can see how we did the waterproofing, painted on the dry lock. We put on that rigid foam as a barrier just in case any moisture were to come through, and then the wall's framed in front of that. So there should be no moisture coming through. Really, it's just a dry basement. It's very dry down here. But in case any water came through that, it would hit that, but it shouldn't. And then it would never hit like the fiberglass insulation or anything, which that would obviously create mold. And then we used pressure treated bottom plates in case because moisture will wick up through the concrete. I guess it's, concrete is porous, so the bottom plate is pressure treated. So I guess if I were to go back and make a change, I don't know if this is a common thing to do or not, but I maybe would have put plastic or tar paper or something under the bottom plate and maybe wrapped it up over so there was no contact to the wood and the concrete. But this is what most people do, is just put the pressure treated right on there. And then there's just more shelving back here. So, there's one thing I didn't show you yet. That'll be the last thing I show you, I guess. With the lights down here. So if I turn this off, you see the bar. There's 2 different lights back here. The first, or this one on the right, turns off those lights. And then, so normally we don't even have them on. And then there's these hanging lights here, and they're dimmable. So it's actually really nice, because it's like that warm lighting. So if you're just kind of hanging out down here, say you're watching a show or something, we turn that off, and then turn off everything. It's actually really comfortable down here. And then we have, like I said, there's a dimmer on that, so you can always leave that on, very dim. And it's just like the perfect, shut the blinds if there's light outside, and just kind of hang out, and it's perfect. You put a movie on or whatever, nice and warm down here. So we like it. I wish I could give you guys more information on the cost of it, because that's another main question that I get, and unfortunately we didn't really do a good job of tracking the costs. So it's, I would guess it's probably around $20,000, and keeping in mind that we did most of the work ourselves. The only things we hired out are the carpet, the granite, and the electrical, and we did everything else ourselves. The plumbing, framing, drywall. I mean, you could go back through and rewatch all the videos. I have them in a playlist, but we did all that labor ourselves, which saved a ton of money, I guess, and it's just nice to be able to say that you did it. So, yeah, I would say probably $20,000, maybe 25 max, but probably $20,000. And it took almost a year, and that's because I did most of the work myself. I was working a good bit of hours and also going to school full time. So you don't really find much time to work on it when you have that kind of schedule. So that's why it took so long. So any other questions, leave in the comments, I guess. Sorry, I guess this is so overdue. I didn't really think to do like a full tour like this, so hopefully you guys liked it.